Using my Deal Finder software tool, a house came on the market for sale in an area that I farm for deals. I saw it first thing in the morning at 8 a.m. It was priced at $44,000, which was significantly below market value in that area, so I knew it was a good deal. So now what? What do you do when you find a lead? How do you convert it into a deal and make money? Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat, but on this video, I'm gonna break it down and I'm gonna show you the 6 steps that I followed to acquire and wholesale this deal and how I made $7,500 in less than 3 hours of work. Coming up. Now, when I saw this listing, I noticed a comment on the listing that caught my attention. It said, cash buyers only. So I called the listing agent. I found out that the property had an older boiler system for heating, but it was completely removed, and therefore without any heating system, the seller knew traditional financing would never pass. Now, the listing agent also disclosed to me that originally the seller was gonna list it for $75,000, but since only a cash buyer would be able to purchase it, he decided to price it significantly lower at $44,000. I interpreted this information to mean that the seller was motivated to sell this property. So let me break down in detail the 6 steps I followed to acquire the contract and wholesale this deal to a cash buyer. And the best part is, it took less than 3 hours. But first, if we've never met, I'm Jerry Norton, and this channel is dedicated to helping you make money right now in real estate, not later, not in 10 or 20 years, or even 3 to 5 years, but right now so that you can achieve true financial freedom and live your dream life. Consider subscribing to my channel and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. Okay, step number 1 is to determine the ARV. Once I saw this lead, before doing anything else, I needed to know the after repair value, or ARV. ARV is simply what the house will sell for to a retail buyer once it's fixed up. Since I had a really good understanding of the market and using my Deal Analyzer software tool, it only took me a few minutes. Using data from active, pending, and sold comps in the past 6 months in that neighborhood, I determined that the ARV was $115,000. Step number 2 is to determine the cost of repairs. So following that, I sent my property scout to the property to do a walkthrough, to look at the floor plan and the layout, and to take detailed pictures. He was in the area, he did the walkthrough, and he emailed me pictures and a list of items needing fixed. Now, using my repair estimator tool, it took about 15 minutes to calculate the repairs at $35,000. Okay, step number 3 is to run the formula. Now that I had the ARV and the repair cost numbers, I ran my fix and flip buy formula to determine the purchase price. Now, the formula I used for this particular deal was ARV times 70% less repairs. So 115,000 times 0.7 minus 35,000 gave me a buy price of 46,000. Step number 4, make the offer. Since the property was listed for 44,000 and my maximum allowable offer was 46,000, this clearly was a great deal. Now keep in mind, at this point, it was 10 a.m. and I haven't even left my house. So I immediately called back the listing agent to make an offer. I explained to the agent that I was an all cash buyer and I would like to submit an offer on his listing. Now this next part is very, very important. I told him that I would like him to represent me and submit my offer for me. This meant that he would get both sides of the commission, 3% as the listing agent and 3% as the buyer's agent. Do you realize how motivating it is for a listing agent to get both sides of the commission? In other words, he would make double what he normally would make to sell the property. In return, I asked that he work extra hard to get my offer accepted. So even though asking price was $44,000, I offered $46,000. Why did I offer $46,000 when it was listed for $44,000? For 2 reasons. Number 1, 46 fit my buy formula, and number 2, I knew it was priced aggressively and I didn't want to risk a higher offer being submitted by another investor. The listing agent said he would submit my offer immediately and that he'd follow up on the paperwork later. So within 2 hours of the property being on the market, I had my offer submitted. About 2 hours after that, the listing agent called me back and explained to me that the seller is going to wait until 2 p.m. the following day before accepting any offers. Now this was discouraging to me because I knew that would give plenty of time for the competition to get in on the deal. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten great deals simply by being faster than the competition. At noon the following day, the agent called me and he said there have been several offers submitted and 2 of them were cash offers for over list price, and the seller was requesting everyone to submit his or her highest and best offers. So I decided to stay put at $46,000. My number's my number. Fully anticipating one or more of the other investors to offer more than $46,000, I waited. That evening, the listing agent called me to inform me that the seller accepted my offer. He went on to tell me that there were a handful of offers that were over list price and a few that were more than my offer, but the listing agent persuaded the seller to accept my offer. That's what happens when you double dip. Step number 5, put together a wholesale deal. Having been in this situation before, I recognized that there were other investors who were willing to pay more than $46,000 for this property. Bells were going off loud and clear in my head. I waited until I had all the paperwork signed from the seller and the deal officially locked up. Then I called back the listing agent and I asked if I could have the contact info for the buyer's agents for the other investors that offered more than $46,000 on this property. He gave me that info without hesitation. After all, he just made a double commission sale. Next, I called the agents and I told them that I was the winner on the property and that I had a lot going on and I would be willing to assign my contract to their buyer for $55,000. Now, to make it worth that agent's time, I offered the buyer's agent a $1,500 commission if they put the deal together. Side note here, don't try to go around the agent to the buyers directly. This is their buyer and you'll have much more success getting the agent working for you. So 2 of the agents agreed to discuss it with their buyers. The following morning, one agent called back and said their buyer accepted. I requested that that agent get my assignment contract signed and a $2,000 earnest money deposit. Tip here, always get an earnest money deposit from your cash buyers. I've had buyers back out at the last second by not getting an earnest money. Also, make sure there is no inspection clauses or any reason to back out. Step 6 is to close and collect my money. Now, 2 weeks later was the closing. We did a single closing that I did not attend, and after paying the cash buyer's agent $1,500, I made a whopping $7,500. Total time spent on this deal, 3 hours. Now, a lot of things worked out in my favor, which isn't always the case, but the more you're in the game, the more lucky you get. Now, part of the reason why I was able to do this deal without leaving my house in only 3 hours is by being very effective with my time, and the other reason is due to my Flipster deal management system. If you haven't heard of Flipster, it's a cloud-based, all-inclusive house flipping deal management system. Not only does it organize, streamline, and automate all of the steps to flipping houses, it actually finds and funds deals for you. So if you're into flipping houses and you'd like to make $7,500 in as little as 3 hours of work, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Click the link in the description. And if you thought this was cool, watch this next video where I show you how I made $4,000 in less than 20 minutes doing this old school technique. So watch that now, and remember, it's not about the money, it's about having the time and freedom to be, do, have, and give everything you want in life. That's what it's all about, and I'll see you on the next video.